I didn't know if my life was going to end. I didn't know if I was going to be paralyzed. We thought it was growing pains, but it was really the tumor causing all of that pain.
Feel this.
You getting a kick?
Feel how low he is.
Dude, your belly's gotten so low.
Is that freaking you out?
I'm worried that you're going to have the baby sooner than 39 weeks.
I am also worried.
We're in a weird spot because like a lot of our content is our life. So it's like, what do we show? What do we not show? Doing the best job as a dad doesn't always correlate to doing the best on social media.
What's one thing people don't know about you? What's your biggest weakness? What's your favorite piece of clothing that I wear?
Your undies.
You like my undies? This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp.
What's up, dudes?
Today, I am doing the Matt Howard interview.
Wow. I'm honored to be here. Thank you for interviewing me.
Yeah, Matt really wanted me to interview.
Hey, people requested it in your interview. They're like, you got to interview Matt now. So
I was kind of inspired by a popular thing. Have you seen the Vogue 73 questions?
no, what is that actually?
So Vogue interviews like all the top celebrities, like the Kardashians, Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh, wow.
Zendaya, Emma Stone, like all the top celebrities, and it's like a one take thing, and they have to just do their impulse like response to the question.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and they're different for each person that they interview, but I kind of just want to get you loose and get your impulse reaction to questions.
This is kind of fun.
And you don't have to go rapid fire, but obviously like 73 questions in the span of this podcast, you're going to have to move pretty quick. So you can't overthink.
That's right. No
Matt
overthinking.
is a huge overthinker.
That's right. I do. I go back and forth quite a bit. So none of that today.
Is it supposed to be a secret that you put whiskey in your Diet Coke that you're drinking?
That is a secret. I told you that in confidence, Abby.
I was going to ask for a drink of Matt's Diet Coke, and he was like, no, do not try this.
I put like a tiny little bit. Hey, you know what? It's been a rough day. Not really, actually.
Wait, are you nervous?
No, it's not been a rough. A little bit. I am.
No.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, it's just me and 100,000 other people.
Potentially more. You never know.
Do you want to just get right into it?
Let's get right into it.
The first question, we're going to warm you up with easy.
Okay.
Matt, what's your favorite time of day?
Oh man, probably late at night. I like nighttime. I don't know. I just like to stay up late. I'm a night owl. That's kind of when I get the most creative, and I'll come up with like fun video ideas or get inspiration to do something fun.
No, I think that's like a proven thing, right? Like people with ADHD. We say ADHD. You have not been officially diagnosed.
Officially get diagnosed.
I don't think you need to. I think we have enough evidence, and you're functional enough that it's not necessary, probably. But isn't that a thing? Like they have like the opposite schedules of like most people.
Yeah.
Because I would say the majority of people probably feel more productive when they're like rested and wake up in the morning.
I mean, I've kind of been forced to be more productive in the mornings now that I'm a dad, but like I just by nature am way more productive at night.
Maybe when you get older, you'll switch and you'll start to be a morning person.
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Are you sweating in here, or it's just me?
It's 72 degrees. It's really a little bit chilly.
Just me. Matt, what's your biggest weakness?
Oh, gosh. I don't even know where to start with that. My biggest weakness is probably overthinking things, probably getting in my head. But it's also, this is like one of those things where like if you go to a job interview, you're like, you got to make your weakness your strength. But like seriously though, it also is my strength because since I do overthink things, I usually think things through a lot and I make more strategic decisions, I would say. But it slows me down and I need to be a quicker decision maker, especially for things that don't matter as much.
Fun fact about Matt Howard, he is not able to pick out his own meal at restaurants.
I usually tell the server, I'm like,
or me.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, I'm stuck between these two things. Can you surprise
every
me?
time.
I like have them surprise me all the time.
Well, most of the time, this is something kind of cute that we do. We both
Yeah.
get a meal and then split half and half to try
true.
different things. But then you overthink it. Then you're like, I wish I would have gotten that one and just gotten the whole thing of
True.
it. Like, and I can tell nothing quite upsets you like when you feel like you've ordered the wrong thing at a restaurant.
I hate it so much. It's just I just keep thinking about the thing that I should have ordered, and it ruins the meal.
Yeah, Matt, your mind really is like a mouse on a wheel. Wait,
Yeah,
a hamster on a wheel.
my brain doesn't stop.
Yeah, you do overthink a lot.
Yeah.
And I think it's forced me to be a very decisive I think I was already a really decisive person. But that's why we're a good pair.
That's right. Give me nucks.
I actually, when you said something about like making your weakness your strength, that reminded me of The Bachelorette. They asked this guy, I think she asked him like what his biggest weakness is or something like that. And he was like, I'm like selfless to a fault. Like I just like I'm so selfless to the point where I just like get taken advantage of.
I just can't.
Which obviously like that's not a good thing, but that's also not really being very candid about like a weakness, you know? What's your biggest strength?
Maybe my work ethic. I don't know. I feel like I tend to really work hard at whatever I do, and I want to be the best at whatever I do. Like when I worked at McDonald's, I wanted to be the best worker at McDonald's there was. I don't know why. I just like, in me, I just cared about doing a good job. So yeah.
What's the biggest learning experience you've had?
Oh man. Gosh, I feel like I'm constantly learning new things in my life. I think I've learned a lot this past year about being a father, and I think I've realized this year more than ever that my time is valuable and that I only have so much time with my son as a baby and then with him as a toddler, and like we've seen him grow up before our eyes so quickly. And so I think this past year has been a great learning experience about what like the purpose of life and what I'm supposed to be doing here. And I'm super thankful for this stage of life, and I'm like realizing more and more how every single stage of life is beautiful and I need to cherish it.
That's really good.
It's the one thing that you can't make more of, you know? You can have more kids.
You can't buy more of it.
You can make more money. You can like do this and that, but you can't increase your, I guess you could try to be healthy and eat healthy, work out and increase your time, but there's just no knowing if you're going to die in a car accident. You just have no idea when your time runs out, and that's kind of scary. So just treating every single day as a gift is really important.
What makes you angry, Matt Howard?
Ooh, I think injustice. I think
that was gonna be my answer.
Yeah, I think I just nothing makes me madder when like I was just watching this video late at night on YouTube last night about the colonization of South America and how that like really affected South America today, and how like it was about like why North America is wealthier than South America, and just like hearing about that injustice made me really mad. And then I watched a video about Puerto Rico and how Puerto Rico was mistreated by the United States, and that made me mad. So I would say injustice. I don't like that. I like fairness. I like equality. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like the first time that was like brought to my attention in a way that like just like grinded my gears so much was Just Mercy.
Yes, Just Mercy, such a good
Bryan
movie.
Stevenson, right?
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan, your celebrity crush, was the star of that movie.
Can you stop mentioning that he's my celebrity crush?
I watched all 3 Creed movies with Abby's dad, thinking that Abby would watch them with me because Michael B. Jordan is Creed. He's the star of the movie, but you wouldn't watch them with me.
No, I just said that. I just give that answer because it's like my knee-jerk response to who's your celebrity crush. I don't just want to sit there and like look at him because that's obsessive.
Oh my gosh.
What's one vice you wish you could give up?
I think I struggle with balance in life. I really, really struggle with that. I'm like all in or nothing. And so I really wish that I had more of a tendency to have balance. But for whatever reason, my brain just goes 0 to 100 with whatever I do. And
the maximizer in you.
Yeah. And so like, oftentimes I continue to edit and work past 5 o'clock. I don't know. I think it's important. And then I go through these like weird shifts of like, oh, I need to like stop focusing on work. I need to focus on my family. And then I'm like, oh man, I'm like falling behind. Like I'm not doing the best I can with what I've been given. I need to work harder here. And so like, I just really struggle with balance. And I think that's a downfall that I have is balance.
Maybe a little bit of self-discipline.
Yeah.
It's not that you're lazy, which I feel like could be the misunderstanding of like not being a disciplined person because you're the furthest thing from lazy. It's just like having order because no one is really setting your order for you, whereas they have kind of your whole life.
Yeah.
But you hate being told what to do is another thing too.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
You go to the beat of your own drum.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
That's a good thing. Makes you a good leader.
Thank you.
What are you most excited about these days?
Oh man. I'm definitely excited to see our 2 boys play with each other and bond. I'm really excited for that. I don't really know what else, I guess, right now. I'm stoked for this podcast. This has been like a fun new project that I've put a lot of time into this past year. And so I'm excited to see what this turns into. And I still can't believe we've had guests on like Olympic gold medalist Shawn Johnson.
I was going to say it's already done some incredible things that we never thought we could do.
Actor Taylor Lautner and then other big
Lautner, Matt.
Lautner. I keep saying his name wrong. We literally opened the podcast with confirming that he goes by Lautner, and then I kept calling him Lautner the whole entire interview.
I know, I'm more comfortable with Lautner still, honestly.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just that excites me. I'm excited for that, and I'm excited for this new stage of fatherhood, and excited too to have more time with you now that we have more family in town. I think we're gonna get more alone time. Hopefully, I know we're gonna have another kid, but I'm hoping we can have more time together.
What's the best compliment you've ever received?
I don't know. I really I like to see, like, when I work really hard on something, I love to see people like enjoy that thing. Like, if there's a video I really worked hard on, I like to see people and enjoy it, and have some sort of like life change from that. But yeah, I don't know. That's not really a good answer. Sorry.
No, I think that's a great answer. I feel like that's where you like seek feedback the most. So when it's positive
Yeah.
feedback, like that has to feel good.
Yeah.
What's the priciest thing you've ever splurged on?
This house, definitely this house. But it was worth it. We have your parents living with us now. We have. I at first we were like, this is big. Are we really gonna do this? And now every single room is being used. Like it seemed.
Yeah, it's great.
ridiculous in the beginning.
Honestly, we chose a less expensive location to opt for a bigger
Yeah.
house. And it's so nice because like when this baby comes, my parents will be staying here, your parents will be staying here. Well, you have another baby, us. Plus, at one time, my grandparents are coming,
Yeah.
and my brother and his wife.
And we just got a couch for the loft so that we can have.
And it's a sofa sleeper.
It's a sofa sleeper, so yeah, it's nice that we can have friends and family stay.
We're going to have people in all the guest bedrooms and all the living spaces sleeping. So
Yeah.
we're going to pile people in here, and that's exactly why we wanted the space. So I feel really thankful. Matt, sweet or savory?
Ooh, probably savory, actually.
What?
Probably
I'm going
savory.
to call BS on that one.
Well, I do love sweets, but
Slurpees, Matt? 7-Eleven Slurpees. Are you kidding me?
here's the thing. I usually go to sweets when I'm not like fulfilled from my actual food. So if I'm eating like good savory food, then I don't even feel the need for sweets. I usually turn to sweets when I'm
Savory
not
doesn't mean
when I'm not full.
need to mean healthy though.
That's true.
Like pizza.
Yeah, but I don't know. I like good
Cheeseburger.
quality healthy food like kava. I love a good Greek bowl from kava. So freaking good. Or a burrito bowl from Chipotle.
What makes you smile the most?
These are all super. These questions are all like, very broad. I guess probably Griffin right now. Probably
Aw.
Griffin. Just like playing with him makes me really smile and giggle, and he's a really cute kid.
He's so cute.
Yeah.
What's one thing people don't know about you?
Gosh, we share a lot, so I don't really
I
know.
know.
I don't really know. Probably that I like to sing. Probably that I love music and I'd like to make music. That's something that
I feel like a lot of people don't know that you sing.
yeah. It's something that I want to start putting out. Like I haven't really released music at all in the time that we've done social media.
Can I tell them?
You can tell them.
Wait, really?
I guess you can tell them.
Okay,
I don't
so
know.
Matt, little story here. Matt, when we were dating for 6 months, was it?
Yeah, it was 6 months.
Wrote me a song, and I still remember that night. We were in the living room of my parents' house, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was December,
Yeah.
and I think my parents were there too when you first sang it. But he sang me this song that he wrote me himself and played the guitar, and it was so special and so beautiful. And then recently, Matt actually had that song produced, and now it's on Spotify, but he literally never told anybody,
Well, okay,
including me. He never told me that this song was literally public.
See, I got it on Spotify, and then it's not perfect. It's not something that I like really. I don't know. I just haven't felt the urge to promote it because I'm like, I want to put out music that's like really, really good.
It is really, really
I think my
good.
worst fear in putting out music is like like having a Rebecca Black Friday situation, kind of like when Rebecca Black's song Friday blew up because everyone was making fun of it, and that would suck so bad to have a song like that people
no one is
just
gonna
make fun of
this
it.
Song.
But you know, there's definitely good parts of the song, but there's parts that still need work, and I think part of it is definitely me because I'm I'm out of practice. I haven't been doing music very much the past couple of years, but also I think like, having the right team behind your music as far as producer and a mixer and someone that can master the music too. There's all these different like jobs. I didn't even know this until a couple months ago, but there's all these different people that work on songs to make songs like really, really good. And having that team is really important too. So we'll see what happens. I definitely want to
tell them the name.
It's called Here to Stay.
If you look at it on Spotify, Here to Stay, the album cover, or not album, this is a single.
Oh my
right?
gosh.
I don't know anything about music. The single cover, like the image, is a picture. Did you take it at the jewelry store when you went to get my promise ring?
It was literally the picture I took at the jewelry store of your
and I'm
promise ring.
still wearing that ring to this day.
But it was
7 years later.
Yeah, I wrote it because I was like letting Abby know, hey, I'm here to stay. I want to get married, and this was all senior year of high school when we had been dating for 6 months. And I did add in a new chorus to the song for getting it produced. But yeah.
It was really, really sweet because we were actually driving home from California where it was like not even a month ago.
Yeah.
And I think, Matt, you had the intentions of like recording me listening to the song for the first time.
I mean, I thought it'd be cool like to take a video of you like hearing the song for the first time.
And I agree.
But I didn't do it because I didn't know I didn't know how I felt about the song. I didn't feel like the song was as good as it could be. And so I just held off, and I was like, you know what, screw it. I don't need to record Abby's reaction. I don't need the video of this. I should just show her this song because I wrote this song for her, and this is her song. And if no one else ever listened to this song, it doesn't matter. This is for Abby, and she deserves to hear the song.
No, you still haven't told anybody about it.
Yeah.
So it was really special, just like in the car listening to that. It literally made me cry just because it took me back to us being in high school. And like, think about how many high school boyfriends have written their girlfriend songs, and like here we are now, married with 2 kids. Like, you actually had it produced. Mm-hmm. That's the other thing that's so incredible. You literally wrote the song too.
It was really sweet that you really liked it. Like the fact that
I keep listening to it on repeat.
Yeah, which like that alone makes it all worth it. But then I'm also like, it's that same situation as if.
And with the new chorus.
But hold up, like if your mom is like, you're the best actor ever, but then it's like your mom, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, how accurate is that? Because you're definitely biased. Like you're like, this song's amazing, Matt. And I'm like, you're literally my wife, and this holds a special place in your heart. So I'm glad that you think it's amazing, but I'm like.
I think it's beautiful.
Thank you.
You guys should look it up. And it's there. Matt wasn't going to tell you, but I'm here to expose you today with my interview.
Wow.
Okay, Matt, this one is really deep. Heels or flats or sneakers?
What? Where did you get this?
Have you ever worn high heels?
No.
I don't think they make high heels in your big,
I was trying to think. We did a TikTok once where
size.
I put on your dress for a TikTok, but I don't think I wore heels in that. I think I just put on your dress. Yeah, I've never worn high heels.
By the way, the picture you put on your story the other day from us 7 years ago at Six Flags, I look so little.
You are a little person. You forget that you're little. You're very short, Abby.
Well, I think now because I have a big belly, I just feel big in every way.
We literally have a foot difference in height, and I think you forget that like every day.
Matt, what makes you feel the most like yourself?
Probably when I'm creating. I just love being creative. I've always loved to do that, and so when I'm creating something, I feel fulfilled. It's fun to do that.
Window or aisle seat?
Ooh, definitely window. I love looking out the window.
Wait, now I feel so bad because I always take the window.
It's okay.
You've never told me that.
I love the window. I love to look out and stare at the clouds and look down. It's so pretty.
What's your current TV character obsession?
TV character?
That's kind of hard.
Am I watching any TV shows? I've been watching mainly movies recently.
Yeah. What's your favorite TV show?
Breaking Bad is probably the best TV show.
And who's your favorite character?
Or Game of Thrones. But for
say your favorite character in both of those.
Breaking Bad,
it's gotta be Jesse.
Gotta be Jesse. And for
Actually, I kind of started to like Hank a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I don't like Hank. I don't know why. I just
I felt so bad for him.
But yeah, Game of Thrones. Gosh, I'm like forgetting the ending now. Probably Jon.
There's so many characters in Game of Thrones. I don't even know how
Jon Snow, right?
Like, how could you say anything other than Jon Snow?
Jon Snow. He's my guy.
Okay, Matt. What's your favorite piece of clothing that I wear?
Your undies.
Okay. You like my undies?
I do like your undies. I literally ask you all the time, like, could you just like walk around in your underwear more often? And now I guess we can't because your parents live with us.
And I
but
also have a son.
That's true, but he's also not gonna remember any of that. He's 1 year old.
See, that's the thing. We don't know
He's
when
1
he's
year
gonna
old.
start remembering.
Yeah,
and I
but
don't
I'm
want
like,
him to remember me and my undies.
That's true, but like my first memories from when I was 3 years old, and that was a long time ago.
Do you remember your mom in her underwear?
I mean, she did from time to time walk around in her underwear when I was a child. Yes.
Do you feel okay about that?
Eventually, when I got older, I was like, "Mom, put some clothes on," and you know what? We got past that.
I don't want to get to that
I feel bad
point.
roasting my mom right now.
You're not roasting her.
I love you, Mom. I love you very much.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Sometimes in life we are faced with tough choices and the path forward isn't always clear. I know when we got that unplanned positive pregnancy test back in December, we were a little thrown off.
Definitely put a wrench in our plans. I was not expecting that at all. And not only that, I think we had a really big life change with having our first baby in the first place. And so with all these big life changes, we realized it's really important to focus on our mental health.
Yes, we talk a lot about mental health nowadays, but sometimes getting those resources actually for ourselves can seem confusing. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, so it's not intimidating to get started, and it's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited exactly to your schedule. It's a really easy process. Basically, all you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire, and then you will be matched with a licensed therapist. And what's great is that you can switch anytime. If it's not a great fit with your therapist, there's no extra cost. You can find one that's more suited to you and your personal needs. So it's great if you're trying to develop positive coping skills or set boundaries. So let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/unplannedpodcast today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/unplannedpodcast. Okay, let's take it back to baby Matt. You were a middle child.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that you have middle child syndrome?
What even does that entail, though, is my question. Because
You're forgotten.
I wouldn't say I'm forgotten. I definitely, I think my parents focused on me a lot because I like to do a lot of activities when I was a kid, but I feel like I'm always wrong. I feel like my parents wouldn't admit this, but I feel like it's always like, oh, my older brother, like he knows what's going on. And my little brother, he's just he's the baby, so we have to like take care of him. But like Matt's fine. Like he's okay. We don't need to worry about Matt.
Do you think that has more to do with you being the middle child or you just being fiercely independent?
Probably me being fiercely independent, but also part of me being independent might have to do with me being a middle child.
That's true, actually.
Because I feel like that's a lot of middle children, but I might relate more to the firstborn in some instances, though.
What did you like to do as a child?
Oh my gosh, I loved to dance, play video games. I skateboarded a lot. I was so into skateboarding as a kid. I wished I lived in California. I wished I could go to the skate park all the time because I think the closest skate park was like 45 minutes away from us. So it was a long drive. But I did plays, I did theater, I played soccer, baseball, basketball, even did football for a little bit until I had a tumor that was discovered on my spine and I had to quit football for the surgery. But yeah, I mean, I just love to do it all. I really enjoyed sports, but I also loved performing and I loved to sing. So there was a lot going on as a kid.
What was one of the hardest things you went through as a child?
Definitely the tumor. I think that was like a really big wake up call for me. I don't know. Yeah, I think that was like my first instance of realizing how fragile life is. And I didn't know if my life was going to end. I didn't know if I was going to be paralyzed. It was a very scary surgery. When I saw my mom after getting the MRI where they found the tumor, she was just in tears. And I immediately knew that something was wrong. Like we thought it was growing pains. I was growing really fast. I was like a growing boy and I ate a ton of food. My parents were like, oh, he's growing. He's just, about to go through puberty and that's why he's having all these pains. But it was really the tumor causing all of that pain. And oddly enough, it was a tumor in my, like right by my spinal cord in the middle of my back. And it was somehow triggering pain in my hip. So I would just like whack my hip all the time.
That must have been so tough for your parents. How do you think you would feel if you had to reverse the roles now that you're a dad, hearing that diagnosis for one of our boys?
I honestly, I heard this when we were at St. Jude learning about cancer patients there and how that affects the families. And I feel like I would not want to be in the parent situation. I feel like my parents must have just been wrecked going through that. And me thinking about Griffin, having a tumor or having cancer or something like that would wreck me, and I would 110% wish that I could switch places. And so I can only imagine how my parents felt when the tumor was found on my back, but I know that they would have definitely switched places with me.
Yeah, so thank goodness like the surgery went well and it actually wasn't a cancerous tumor and you know, everything was okay, but like do you feel like that scare, well, I mean, it was not even just a scare. You did have a tumor. You did have to get a section of your backbone removed. But do you think that experience like changed you in some way or changed your childhood?
Funny enough is I don't think we'd ever be here doing this podcast or be on TikTok or any of this if it wasn't for that tumor in my back. And that's because growing up I always did theater, but being stuck in a bed recovering from that surgery, I started to pick up film production and editing, and I would make these silly videos where we would take my Nerf guns and like put like lens flares on the end of the Nerf gun and make it look like we were like shooting things. And I made all these short films as a kid. I have so many stupid dumb videos that I made as a kid for class projects or just simply for fun, because I got deep into editing and making videos, and that whole thing came out of this tumor on my spine.
Matt, who influenced you the most from your childhood into adulthood?
Who influenced me? Definitely my parents.
Your parents.
Oh yeah, my parents. And I think I take for granted a lot how lucky I am to have two parents in my life. A lot of people don't have that. And not only did I have two parents, but I had two parents that loved me and cared about me and loved me enough to allow me to make decisions for myself about what I wanted to do. They didn't force me down a certain path. They didn't say, Matt, theater doesn't make any money, the arts don't make any money, you can't do that. But they supported me in all my endeavors, and they were cool with me.
Huge.
They were cool with me going off to college to pursue a degree in the arts, even though, honestly, now looking back, I probably wouldn't encourage people to pursue arts degrees. I would encourage people to pursue the arts for their job, but I feel like people are better off pursuing art outside of college and being successful that way rather than learning something in school, because like you can't teach someone YouTube in school. You can't
just
teach
to
someone...
clarify, you're not saying that they shouldn't get training.
No,
just not
exactly.
within the walls of a university.
Exactly. Training is so important, but I think like a lot of art forms change so rapidly that to get training in a collegiate setting doesn't make sense, and I think oftentimes you're overpaying.
Yeah.
So
It's
anyway,
fair.
but yeah, I think that's why I'm just so grateful for my parents. They're amazing parents, and they did an amazing job, and I hope I can do the same for my kids.
You might have already answered it in that response, but what would you think is like the main lesson your parents taught you?
My parents taught me hard work. They taught me respect. They taught me, I would say, selflessness. I feel like my parents were good about making sure we were volunteering and looking out for the little guys, like making sure that we included other people. And I try to still do that. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I get so wrapped up with the busyness of my life that I, don't volunteer for a while or don't do something like that. But I really appreciate them instilling all those good values in me.
They really did do that.
Yeah, I have great parents.
Is there anything that your parents did that you don't want to do as a parent?
Ooh, good question.
Respectfully, knowing that you have like amazing parents.
And so that question's so hard though, because like they're just doing the best they can.
Exactly.
And I'm just doing the best. I'm sure there's things I'm doing that are wrong as a parent, but like I'm a human. I can't be perfect. Nobody can be perfect. So like I hesitate to say anything because I'm like, they just did the best they could.
Yeah.
And I really respect that. And I also know that like just because you tried hard, maybe sometimes like trying hard isn't enough. You need to try smart. You need to make sure that you're working smarter, not harder. But they're reading parenting books, and they did approach it in a smart way. They didn't just try hard, but they also read up and did their research on how to be a good parent. And
they talked with other parents.
They did, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think they did a great job.
Yeah. What was one of the hardest losses you've ever faced?
That's tough. I've been fortunate. I have both my parents, I have all my siblings, but I have had losses in my life. And I think losing my great grandpa really put life in perspective, because he was just such an incredible like rock for our whole family. And growing up, we'd celebrate holidays at my great grandpa's farm. And that's where I rode a four-wheeler for the first time and like got to see cornfields and played in the dirt with my cousins, and we'd play football and basketball, and just we have so many great memories there. And so losing him was tough. Losing my great grandma was tough too, but being a young kid, I didn't quite grasp as much of what was going on because I was so young. Because I was 8 when she passed.
Were you ever bullied at any time in your life?
You know, it's weird. I think when initially I would say no, but I think when I really think to the definition of what it means, I would actually say yes. And I don't know.
I would agree.
Yeah, there was actually somebody in my life in my senior year of high school that actually told me to my face in front of people too, which was actually like shocking because you don't realize it's happening when it happens. But there's someone in high school that literally told me to my face to kill myself.
What made him do?
You know, I don't know. I think there's just some people that have a lot of stuff going on in their lives and they feel the need to lash out. And I do think hurt people, but I also do think that there are just some people in the world, just like you have some people who are by nature really, really good, and for whatever reason they're just amazing and they're so kind and they're always so nice to people. I think you also have people on the flip side, right? I think I kind of view it like a bell curve. If you take a statistics course, most of people rely in the middle, right? Like they do good and bad, and then you got those outliers. There's not as many of them, but you got the really good people that are just for whatever reason incredible, amazing, nice humans, and then you have the reverse of that. And I don't want to necessarily say that this person was that, but something had to be wrong for him to tell me to my face to go kill myself. And it happened at lunch. It was senior year of high school, and I think I was trying to fit in with the crowd that I really wasn't welcome in. You know, I think they were some of the kids that might have been kind of more on the popular side, but I wanted to I kind of like wanted to be part of the cool kid crowd, but it just wasn't working out for me. And I think when that happened, I was like, okay, I need to find a different lunch table to sit at because this isn't good. It's not healthy for me to be told by this person to go kill myself.
Did anybody else say anything?
No, they didn't. I don't necessarily blame them. I don't think that they're evil for not saying anything because there's been situations in my life where I probably should have like spoken up, but it's uncomfortable when someone says something so out of the ordinary. Sometimes you don't even like know how to respond as a bystander.
That's where we were dating senior year of high school, and I don't remember you telling me that in real time. I only remember hearing that after.
In retrospect?
Yeah.
I remember I did tell you that because we used to FaceTime like every day in high school.
You told me same day it happened?
I don't think I told you the same day, but I think I eventually did tell you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it happened after, at least by a couple months.
Yeah.
So, we did start dating in high school.
Mm-hmm.
What made you want to date me since it was your 18th birthday and you'd waited 18 years to ask a girl to be your girlfriend or to go on a date?
Well, I had never been on a date before. You know, I did reveal I do say you're my first kiss, but like if we want to get into the technicalities of it,
technically I'm not.
I did play. I think it was called.
Like
what is it
Truth
called?
or Dare?
Not Truth or Dare. It wasn't. I'm thinking Heads
Pull
Up.
Away?
Oh my gosh! What are the odds?
Spin the bottom.
That's it. What are the odds? We were playing What are the odds, and this girl and I had to we barely pecked on the lips in my freshman year of high school.
Was it exhilarating?
No.
Okay.
It really wasn't. I barely remember it.
Did you have a crush on her?
No.
Okay.
And the other time was, I can't believe I'm saying this, when I was 13, I was playing Truth or Dare with my cousin and her friend, and somehow I got
You kissed your cousin?
No, not my cousin, my cousin's friend. And yeah, but again, I don't really necessarily count that. And then when I was in kindergarten, I remember kissing a girl, but it's like I was literally 6 years old. So are we gonna count that?
We don't need to count that.
I don't know, but I did. I was a ladies' man for sure.
So what made you date me?
What made me date you? Wow. You know, I really liked your character. I thought you were easy to talk to. I thought you were super sweet. I thought you were just a cute girl. And it's funny, like I didn't have that initial attraction right away. Like it wasn't, I had known you for a while. I knew you before my senior year. We had been kind of like acquaintances from even when we were like 13. Mm-hmm. But something about that summer before our senior year of high school, I started to view you as like, wow, this girl is like, not only is she like really sweet, but she's beautiful, you know? And I thought you had really pretty eyes. I thought you had really pretty eyelashes. I mean, you were looking more and more like a woman. You know, like when you were a kid, you were just like a girl and I was just a boy, but like we were both maturing and I was like, wow, this is a beautiful woman. And so I was like, I need to ask this girl on a date. If you were eating nachos, pause what you're doing right now and share a podcast with your friend. If you were eating chicken nuggets, same thing. Stop eating chicken nuggets.
Nachos, the cheese coagulates and then it gets so you can't eat cold nachos.
Sorry, that was rude. If you're eating nachos, finish your nachos first, then share the podcast with a friend or family member.
Yeah, you can reheat just about anything else, but nachos, no.
What are we thinking? Should people share the podcast with their ex? Would that be...
No, you should not contact your ex.
But that might start like a fun conversation. Like that might be kind of like a fun party story where you're like, I shared Matt and Abby's podcast with my ex, and this is the conversation that
Definitely
followed.
depends on the relationship, but most ex we should just leave as...
Okay.
Leave in the dust.
What if, okay, so maybe not like an ex-husband or wife, but what about like an ex-girlfriend or boyfriend?
Oh, definitely not an ex-husband or wife. Oh my gosh.
I'm just messing around. But seriously though, if you are eating nachos, eat your nachos first.
Share it with the person that's ringing you up at Target.
Yes.
You know, share it with your elderly neighbor. They probably could use some entertainment.
Yeah, share it with your college roommate. They might want to know what's going on.
For sure.
You know, so... Share the Taylor Lautner episode. That was pretty
Lautner.
cool. Taylor Lautner.
Taylor Lautner.
Sorry. Okay, now back to the episode. Sorry.
Early on in our dating experience, we talked about getting married, which I don't feel is as uncommon for a high school girl.
Yeah.
But that's pretty uncommon for a high school boy.
Totally.
Where did that come from?
You know, I just think I was raised, just the way I was raised. I think I viewed dating in a way of being for marriage, and so I took it really seriously, like to the point of we'd been dating for 2 weeks and I almost cut things off after 2 weeks of dating because I was like putting the pressure on myself, like right then and there, of that early stage of would I marry this girl. And I think part of me was like afraid.
That's probably a little unhealthy.
Yeah, I know, it was extreme, but I definitely viewed from my worldview, I was like, this is for the purpose of marriage, and so if I'm not dating with the intention of marriage, then there's no point. And what I did come to realize, though, I had some friends talk to me about this. They're like, hey, look, if this is good, if you're enjoying this, if you like this girl, if you guys are getting along well, you don't have to make up your mind. Like, you don't have to have some big idea right now in your head, as far as the marriage thing. And if it's good as it is, and you're, you know, head over heels for this girl, like, why would you break it off? And so, yeah, I didn't. And I kept dating you. And by 6 months in, I think we were like talking about marriage a ton.
Yeah. I feel like that's part of you being like, in general, you're kind of black and white on some things.
Yeah.
I think you've gotten more shades of gray recently.
Totally. But I think my default is like one or the other, right?
Yeah.
That is my default.
So we got married.
Okay.
Wait, maybe I shouldn't skip to that part.
Oh, it's okay. We can talk more about dating stuff.
I feel like we talk about it a lot.
We do. And it's funny, like when we started this whole journey of like social media and stuff, I remember I was like, what should we even make videos about? And I'm like, I guess it's interesting that we're like young and married. And in the corner of the world that we lived, like not a lot of people did that. You know, we've made a lot of friends in Utah now.
Missouri.
A lot of people in Utah will get married younger just because of the culture there. But in Missouri, especially St. Louis, where I'm from, like nobody gets married when they're 20 and 21. Like nobody does that. My parents got married when they were 28 and 30, 27 and 29. They're like in their late 20s. So, yeah, what we did was very unique.
That's a very common age to get married.
Yeah.
But we were weird.
We were weird. But I like that.
You like that we were weird?
Yeah, I think it brought us closer together. Like being different, I think brought a bond out between us that was really special. Mm-hmm. And, it was really, really sweet going to the same college together because we had dated long distance. And I was just over the moon about being in the same town with you. And I just went to your dorm room all the time to hang out with you. And I remember being in ballet class because we were pursuing the arts freshman year, and I could not take my eyes off of you while we were doing ballet. And I just thought you looked so hot. I was like, this woman in a skin tight leotard is my girlfriend who I'm going to marry. And she is like in the same room as me. I get to do ballet with her. This is awesome.
Such a different time.
Yeah.
So as a single person, you envisioned your wife. How am I the same or different from that, my personality or looks wise, from that person that you pictured?
Oh my gosh. I don't know how in depth I want to get with this. I think I envision myself marrying like a really sweet girl, and I think you are that. I think
Oh,
you
you
definitely.
think?
I think you shocked me a little bit because I think initially like you were this really sweet, you know, shy, timid girl, like very sweet, but then this other side of Abby came out, and you know I do like that about you. I like your
Every
silly.
short girl has to have a little sass
You got
because
some sass,
it's us
girl.
against the world.
That's true.
If you're the shortest person in the room, it's like you automatically have to make your personality 5 inches taller.
But I think that shocked me. But I do like that because you make me laugh. Like, you're funny. I think you're hilarious. I think
Thank
you're such a
you.
goofball. But that really shocked me. That's definitely different than the person I thought I was getting into a relationship with. You really hid your true personality at first. You really did.
I did not hide
You
it.
were so timid. You were scared. I think you really wanted me to like you. I know you had been crushing on me for a while. So I think like for you, you just didn't know how much to give up right away. And I just
I
thought of you
think-
as a shy person at first.
I think I just honestly was so young I didn't really know who I
you were.
was.
But I think maybe the personality that you had with your girlfriends, the silly, crazy Abby, definitely
yeah.
came out later on, but that was not there in the beginning.
I learned a lot about you too though as we were dating.
Yeah.
But so you didn't really answer my question.
Sorry, what was the question again?
Looks wise. Truthfully, did you
I did not think I was gonna marry a short girl.
Yeah,
I thought I was
you-
gonna marry a tall queen, not a short queen.
really?
Yep, I thought I was gonna marry a tall queen because I'm 6'2". You're 5'2". I did not expect myself to get with someone that little, but I think it's cute.
Does our height difference ever pose an issue?
Never. I mean, actually, I'm sorry. Now, no. In the beginning, that was actually something that I was like, am I okay dating a girl who's a foot shorter than me? You know, like
I meant logistically.
We're not talking about 6 inches here. I like how would what do you mean
I
logistically?
don't know. Like, is it hard for you to kiss me because
It is.
You
I
have to
mean, I
bend
do
down.
kind of have to bend down to kiss you. That is true. I mean,
the major issue I find is not necessarily related to height, but like our hands together.
your hands are very tiny.
My hands are way too small, and so when we waffle,
Yeah.
it stretches my fingers out so bad it like hurts.
Yeah.
So then I have to pancake.
Yep.
Sorry.
It's
You
okay.
became a dad at a very young age.
Yeah, 20. Wait, what was I last year?
23.
24? 23?
24.
I just turned 24.
You had just turned 24.
I was 20. Gosh, 23 seems so young now because I'm 25. Can you believe that I'm freaking 25?
It's only 2 years difference. Don't let it get in
No,
your
but
head.
23 is like so much closer to 21, and 21 seems like a kid.
This
and
is such a Matt Howard thing to
and
say.
25 seems like an adult. So it's like 21, you're not really an adult. You're still a kid. But
How
25,
has that shaped you?
wow.
Or has it changed you?
It's changed me a lot. You know, I've had to become more responsible. I think about, I wake up in the morning, it's not just like, you know, with me and you, I feel like you're an adult. You can, you know, obviously I want to take care of you as my wife, but like you're also an adult woman. You can take care of yourself. Like the first thing I do every single morning when I wake up is go and get my son out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll typically go on a bike ride, and then I'll feed him breakfast. So it's like my whole entire schedule has changed for this kid. My world has changed, and I love him more than anything. And it's weird to be in a spot where like there's a human being that is completely reliant on you for survival. Like like to live, they need you. Like he can't get himself out of bed. He can't feed himself breakfast. I mean, now he can at least grab the pancake pieces and put them in his mouth, but like he can't heat that up in the microwave, okay? And I don't know, it just, there's a lot of responsibility there.
Yeah. How does that feel? Like, I feel like the bond between father and son is like such a unique
Yeah.
relationship. Like, even reflecting on your relationship with your own dad, like, how does
Yeah.
that feel to now have that responsibility and that type of relationship?
It just makes me really respect my parents and respect what they did for me as a kid, because I've especially in the newborn stage, oh my gosh, like you think it's a lot of work being a parent to a 1-year-old, try being a parent to a 1-month-old or a 1-day-old. Oh my gosh, like the first week you can hardly, like all we did the first week of being parents was take care of this child. Like there was nothing else that our full energy was being used to do. And I'm so thankful for my parents doing that for me, because I freaking don't remember that. I don't have any memories of that, but I know they did it for me, and I'm so thankful for them. So just a lot of respect for parents out there.
Yeah, and now you're doing it all over again.
Yeah.
What is that experience like as a husband walking through pregnancy with your wife?
I don't know if anything can really prepare you for it until you're there. From my experiences, it's definitely shaped me. It's definitely pushed me, and it's definitely been really cool to see someone I love grow a baby inside their body. Like how crazy is that? And I have a lot of respect for you doing that for, our son, and now our second son. So
How do you feel about your current line of work?
current line of work. It's weird. Like our industry is kind of like the Wild West. It's almost like, in a way, creators are just figuring it out for themselves, and we're in a weird spot because like a lot of our content is our life. So it's like what do we show? What do we not show? How do I make sure that I'm doing all my duties and roles as a husband and spouse, but then also making sure that I'm doing my job as a creative? Like it's a weird thing, and it's the Wild West, and there's no rule book, and laws and regulations that have been in place now for Hollywood are starting to try to catch up to social media, and so it's an interesting space to be in.
Yeah. A good point you brought up is like in the realm of social media, it's largely up to the creators to set their own boundaries.
Yeah, totally.
What is, if you have one or two examples of like hard and fast boundaries you've had to establish?
There's been some big changes this year for us. We slowly were, making a lot of content around being parents, and that's totally fine. But I think for me, what I realized is I as a creative, because I want to do the best job I can at anything that I do. And so when it comes to making content with my family, again, I want to be the best, right? I want to figure out the way that I can do the best job at this. And so there's a conflict of interest there, I think, for me, when it comes to showing my life and my kids and everything on social media, because doing the best job as a dad doesn't always correlate to doing the best on social media, and doing the best on social media doesn't always correlate to doing the best job as a dad. And so for us, I think we had to really evaluate that and take a step back, and we made some decisions to kind of limit how much content we showed of our son, and we made some changes there. And I think doing this podcast was huge too, because now we're able to create content which luckily the viewers are, the listeners are enjoying, and I'm enjoying doing. It's content that's separate though from like showing our life, because I think it can be a little bit intrusive when you have a camera with you 24/7 showing everything you do. I'm glad that we recognize those changes that needed to be made, and we're able to implement those, because again, this is the Wild West. There's no rule book, and like even reality TV is a very new thing. I think I was just watching a documentary about the Duggars, and like I didn't even realize how recent that was. I thought reality TV has been going on for a very long time, but it really hasn't. And so all of this is very new.
Was there any one thing that like really inspired that decision to be made? Obviously, it was a decision we made together.
Yeah.
But was there any one thing?
What do you mean?
That was like, okay, this is not in the best interest of our son.
Oh, you know what was actually really good? Watching The Truman Show. It was just such an interesting movie, because I'm like, oh my gosh.
Well, he wasn't aware of it.
This is social media.
Couldn't agree to it.
The movie was made before like social media existed, from my understanding. And
for sure. It was like made in the 90s.
And so I was just thinking about that, like, wow, I think we can learn a lot from this.
Yeah. So being a content creator, you see feedback from people that are complete strangers to you all the time. What is something that like makes you feel the most misunderstood?
Ooh, it's so funny, because I saw a comment the other day that was like, wow, Abby really needs to do more as a mom for her kids or something. It was just like it was just like some video. I think I was like just showing myself like being a dad or like cleaning or something. And it's just, I just find it so, I think it's, people misunderstand you when they see a snippet of your life.
Right.
And they just like make a judgment on that. And I think humans do that naturally, right? I think like it's a survival tactic. It's something that we do. We have to make assumptions in life to just keep going forward. We can't fully understand
what will never
everything.
make sense to me is publicly commenting it, but
that's true.
A whole different...
That's true, exactly. But people do it, right?
Yeah.
Some people like to be vocal with their thoughts, and so they're vocalizing that thought. They're making an assumption, because we all make assumptions all the time.
Right.
And but you just can't let it get you down. And unfortunately, like while I wish I could read every single comment from people, sometimes you just have to not look at comments because you need to just make sure your mental health is preserved. And not saying at all that we are like celebrities, but I know that celebrities like probably won't even read the news to make sure that their mental health is okay. And
I
so
doubt they read the magazines at the grocery store.
They probably don't read the magazines at the grocery store. But I know for us, like our version of that would, as creators, would be we might just need to take a break from reading the comments for a little bit.
What would you say your biggest goal in the coming years is for your platform?
I don't know what it is yet. I kind of tried to do this with our St. Jude podcast episode where we were interviewing cancer survivors who were patients at St. Jude.
Which, by the way,
we made our goal. We made the goal.
We met our goal
and exceeded it.
We are writing almost 500 thank you cards. So
wow.
That is like, shout out to you guys, by the way, because
thank you.
That's incredible that like almost 500 people made a donation of $50 or more to St. Jude. That's like the greatest way you could show your support for us is like through supporting charities we choose to bring up. Sorry,
you're good. You're good. We made a goal with that St. Jude podcast episode to raise $40,000, and we far exceeded it. We raised just shy of $50,000. So thank you everybody that donated. But yeah, I think that was one small step in the right direction of I would love to find ways to make content and be creative in a way that not only is very entertaining, because I want to make stuff that people want to watch, right? Mm-hmm. But I want it to also do good in our world. And so I don't know what that is yet. I think it's going to be a slow process. It'll be a learning process for me of how I can have those two things work together. But I'm just inspired by creators that are able to make content that's very entertaining and people love to watch, that also does good. I think a perfect example, I talk about him all the time, but Ryan Trahan with his Penny series was able to raise a ton of money for charity and make very entertaining content. And I want to do the same thing. I think there's a lot of good in that. And I think nothing's more rewarding as a creative to make something that not only entertains people, but makes the world a better place. Mm-hmm.
My final question for you. I think this was somewhere around 73 questions.
Whoa, okay.
Track.
Wow.
What would you say your biggest goal is in life?
My biggest goal.
I know that's a big question, but I feel like you hit me with a couple of the big questions when you interviewed me.
Abby, I constantly ask myself that all the time. And I think maybe my biggest goal is to find joy in every step of the journey. I was watching part of like the Shawn Mendes documentary that they made about him being a musician, and he was talking about how like he had accomplished so much and won all these awards, and he was performing on all these big stages, and to him he still didn't feel like he had achieved it or made it, and so to speak. And I've realized in many ways that you think that once you get to a certain point, you'll just have this epiphany moment where you just feel so happy and your life is complete. But from talking to people like Shawn Johnson, Olympic gold medalist who won gold in Beijing, she said she had an identity crisis after accomplishing so much. And even for us, like I feel so blessed that we were somehow, I don't even know how this happened, but we worked very, very, very hard to pump out all these videos and grow to over 1 million subs on YouTube. But I just still can't believe that we did that. And so now it's like, I think rather than working towards something and that being that pinnacle moment, I want to make sure that I'm enjoying every bit of the journey with being a father, every bit of the journey with being a husband, every bit of the journey with being a son and a friend and a creative and maybe a musician if I'm going to move more into that. But I just want to make sure that I really appreciate every bit of my life, every step of the way, because we just don't know how much time is left on our clock. And I know from experience that whenever I reach a big goal, I end up coming up with some new big goal. And I think the true enjoyment comes out of, finding happiness in the everyday things.
That's good. Your interviewer is uncomfortable signing out.
Do you need to go take a nap?
I do, but I'm not going to.
You're actually really good at interviewing, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much.
You really just went off. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Because you kind of read the room and asked questions, follow-up questions that were really deep and really good. And I just think you crushed it. So maybe you have a new calling in interviewing.
No, probably not.
Probably not?
No.
You rather do other things?
I'd rather do other things. I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. I like talking to people and getting to know people, but I also feel like because I know you so well, I feel like I could have sat on either side of this.
Yeah. What's funny
I could have
about
played both roles.
What's funny about you, Abby, is like you're so talented and gifted and skilled at like so many things that you do. And so many people wish they were you. So many people wish that they had those skills, but for you, you would rather just, read a book or hang out.
You make me sound so boring.
No, that's not boring. I'm just saying it's ironic how like you're so gifted, but like for you, your goal at the end of the day isn't to be some actress. Like you're really good at acting, but like you could care less about acting. You love being a mom, and I really respect that.
Feel this.
You getting a kick?
Feel how low he is. Like, do you feel like this big gap here where there never used to be a gap? Now he's down here.
Dude, your belly's gotten so low.
Is that freaking you out?
Should we talk to the doctor about that? Should we make sure that everything's okay?
This baby's coming out.
I'm worried that you're going to have the baby sooner than 39 weeks. I'm worried that it might come early.
I am also worried. So, no more mom and dad time. No, I'm just kidding.
No more mom and dad.
And wrapping up this episode.
What
Thank
did you just
so
insinuate?
much for being on my show, Matt Howard.
Thank you for having me on the Abby Howard Show.